Yo, what's up, y'all? I ain't gonna hold you. It's your boy Russell. And so for the people that don't know me, I am originally from Memphis, Tennessee. I ain't gonna never lose this accent, even though I speak Spanish and I speak French. All right, so thank y'all for being part of the page, part of the group. And I also dance. Thank you for watching my dance videos. I actually won the best dancer in 12th grade in my senior year. I won best dancer. Yeah, it was me and it was another girl that won. We won best dancer. Just wanted to put that out there for the people that watch my dance videos. Okay, but what I want to talk about now, like, what's the difference between like your time musically and what you have grew up on? And you're open to comment. Please comment because I just want to hear some different opinions. I did like a live talking about this subject. So to me, like me born in the late '80s, would I still consider '90s musically my time, or would it not be my time? I was born in the late '80s, '88 exactly. So with the '90s, I say no. I would think that '90s would be more something that I had grew up on, but would this still be my time though? This is like the confusing question. Would it? I would say no because musically in the '90s I wasn't listening to music like that, but I did grow up. I kind of grew up on certain things, so I don't think I wouldn't consider musically the '90s my time. I mean, I feel like I barely caught the '90s, you know, but I wouldn't consider it my time. What do y'all think? Like what musically would be your time, like your era? Okay, like to me in the '90s, I did listen to stuff that was from the '70s or from like earlier music. You know, I did, but I feel like it was more something that I grew up on. Because to me, growing up on something in your time, your era, growing up on something in your era, or would growing up pretty much be your era if you grew up on it? No, I don't think so because like sometimes like our parents like music in the '90s. They like in the '90s, your parents could have been listening to music that was like from the '70s, but that you grew up or you could have grew up on it in the '90s. You know, you could have grew up on it. You could have grew up on it in the early 2000s because that's what they was listening to. So you kind of tend to kind of take on like the same music that your parents like. You tend to like some of the similar things, you know, in some cases what I have seen. So to me, my time, to me, for me being in the late '80s, baby, I would consider more like early 2000s, maybe late '90s, but more like early 2000s, like T Pain, Sierra, Bow Wow. You know, we could go to say even we could say the Destiny's Child. We could say them. There would be kind of sort of more kind of to me of my era, I would think. So what's the difference between your era and what's the difference between something you just grew up on? This is me. I'm going to say my opinion. So I think something that I grew up on could be from any year, no matter what, because it could be I could have been influenced to listen to it by my parents or by my friends or whoever, you know. Well, most of our parents or maybe, um, yeah, most of our parents are like family, you know, which you could have heard them listen to, so you grew up on it. It doesn't matter the year. My era would be more like what was the time where like I feel like it's more like when you're a teenager, and you like in maybe high school prom night, what they were playing. Like I remember my prom night. I can remember T Pain playing. There was a popular person, Soldier Boy, Hurricane Chris. I think this the era more for like the late '80s, baby, maybe the early '90s, baby. This is just what I think. This my time. '90s, I wouldn't really consider that my time. I was a kid, didn't know nothing about music. So that's what I think your time mean. You didn't you knew about music, you was able to understand music, and that's what you really grew up on. And normally it's around like when you're a teenager, maybe like in high school. To me, that's your time. Like up until like you like in your early 20s. Like this really considered like your time to me, like your era. And then what I grew up on could be from just any year, whatever my parents listened to. I could have just grew up on something. It's children today that was born in the early 2000s that still grew up on '90s music, even though they wasn't born in the '90s, and that was because their parents listened to it. But let me know what's the difference between what is your era and what is considered something you just grew up on. Do you agree with what I'm saying, or do you have just a different opinion about that? Like, what's your era or what you grew? What did you grow up on? You can leave that in the comments. And what do you think is your era? And do you agree with like the late '80s babies eras is more like 2000s or maybe late '90s, 2000 than just '90s period? Which y'all think? I'm waiting on those comments and like it if you like the video. Have y'all have a good day.